Hi, my name is John.
And I'm Lloyd.
And we are the hosts of Pint of Comics, a podcast all about pop culture. Lloyd, what do we do sometimes on Pint of Comics that people might want to know about before they listen?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers and sometimes we swear like sailors.
So, if you're okay with that stuff, listen in and enjoy the show.
I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win. Even in the 80s. See you, Duke.
Welcome to another episode of Pint of Comics. It is 2022. I'm John. With me tonight, my special guest, my so-special guest, So Wizard Podcast, 2/3, 66.6% of the podcast is here. Who do I got with me? I got Joey. Joey, what's going on?
What is going on, everybody? It is a pleasure to be here on Pint O apostrophe Comics.
Thank you, Joe, for coming down. Both of you guys, Marcellus, Mark, the expert. Mark, what's going on, man?
What is going on, dude? It is such an honor to be on this show because I love you guys and I love what you do. And I got a pint and I see some comics, so I think I'm in the right place.
You're in the right place. It's awesome to have you guys here. What are you at, like 1,300 episodes weekly? What do you, like, here's what kills me about you. I'm going to say this real quick. I started listening in earnest, I think I told you before, around 200. So I came in late. When I started podcasting, I didn't listen to other podcasts. And then suddenly I realized, why am I not listening to podcasts? So I had met you guys and I started listening. I love it. So 200. Now we're at about at the recording time, 340-ish around, right?
No, we're at 380-ish.
380-ish.
Right now. We're closing in on 400.
Yes.
Here's the thing. As a listener, I listen to your show and I see the numbers every year go up and up as they would, right? You're weekly, so you go from 200 to 250. Right. And I feel like there's progression. I feel like I don't see even though we still put out episodes weekly. Do you notice that about your own show? Do you see other shows that might be around like where you're at, or it seems like it's a trick of the light? Like we're at 220 about right now.
Okay.
But I feel like we'll be about 236 halfway through next year. It seems like your show, I don't know, you guys are like on like fucking hyperspeed or something. I don't know. It's like I said, it's almost like an optical illusion that every time I listen to you guys, I feel like how fucking high can they get? Where are they going? But this is the question of questions, because we all listen to the countdown, right? And they talk a lot about an eventual endpoint. Now, I don't want to put anything on there, but has there ever been a thought like 500? Like
no.
Yes.
Mark thinks about it every week.
Every week.
Mark edits the episodes.
Like, this is it. This is the last episode ever. I'm done.
Everything has an end. I don't see it in the future soon.
And I'm not putting you on the spot, but no. I'm curious if it was ever like a consideration amongst the three of you, Aubrey being the third member, who's not here. She lives in Virginia, right?
Right. I think if it came to a point where it was not fun anymore and it was something where like either Mark or Aubrey or myself were going to leave the show, that would be the end. That's the end point for me. I'm done without the three of us plus Adam on YouTube is So Wizard Podcast. It's not going to go on without one of the three of us. So
okay. All right. That's fair. Look at now, Mark feels all the pressure in the world. He's like,
that doesn't mean Mark to immediately quit tomorrow.
I have dreams of not being on the show anymore.
I think it runs like a machine at this point. So,
Yeah, I think it runs like, you ever see those scenes in movies where guys are in prison and they like chisel a line on the wall? They're like, oh, there's another one.
Remember in Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he made the breakfast at the beginning?
Yeah.
Exactly like
so
that.
So you're comparing your show to a Rube Goldberg device.
Exactly.
Like, crack an egg, a marble goes down a tube.
Yep.
and then a couple of sprinklers go off.
Remember on Lost where they had to push the button every certain amount of time? Everything would blow up and they'd all die. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Except it's editing. That's what Mark's stuck in a hatch editing forever.
I love. I follow you guys on social media, and I love Mark's editing, like his little editing things, because I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Podcasting is since it came into my life, it's a great thing. I love doing it. This is the part I love the most.
Yeah.
Right here, sitting here talking to you guys, looking at you guys, and having a conversation. I don't listen to my personal episodes, but I love the fact that they get out there and people listen to them.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate. And so it's like, I love this, and I love people listening. I fucking detest editing. Detest editing. And I get jealous sometimes when I talk to other podcasters who, I don't edit. And to me, I can't not. I feel like I have to have the quality to my standards, but I'll listen to some shows that I like, and they're like, yeah, I don't edit. And I'm like, I could also hear it, and no offense to them, but I'm like, man, you have some kind of, you're free. You're free.
Yeah.
You feel that, right?
Yeah. And you have there's a whole nother world out there that opens up to you when you're not editing a podcast. Joey edited a couple episodes.
I tried to take the burden off Mark a little bit. Schedule wise, it's hard for me, but if we can record on Sundays, then I can edit on Mondays. Some weeks we can't do that, but I try. I'm trying. I taught myself how to edit so I can help. That's basically it.
Right.
Because there's points where I can tell when he's getting to the edge.
No, but I am a little over dramatic with it. I don't mind it as much because there is a part of me that likes being creative.
Yeah.
And if there's it's like a mountain of clay. You want to chisel it out and make a nice thing at the end of the week, and then it goes off into the world, and then next week you get to do it again. So there isn't a sense of accomplishment doing it. When Joey did edit a couple of weeks ago, and I was beside myself with how much free time I had. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait a minute.
I just know it's bad when Aubrey will message me separately from our secret chat on Facebook and be like, do you think one of us could edit this week coming up or so? Mark seems a little close to the edge right now.
Yeah.
He's on the fucking edge.
It happens sometimes. But, again, it's being creative is what I want to do, is what I like to do. So editing isn't that bad.
Manster Lloyd, my co-host, before he's been on a hiatus, but there were times in the past where I think he knew it too, and he'd be like, give me the episode and let me edit it, and I couldn't. Because, do you have any of that, where you're like, well, it's not going to be my show anymore. It won't be my edit. Certain things that were said couldn't be shaped a certain way. And I don't mean shaped like putting, but, pauses and stuff. There's a rhythm to it all.
Yeah.
And it's a final product. And, I'm kind of I like the way I do it. And I don't know how I'd feel if he did it differently. And it's bitchy, but do you feel that way at all sometimes when you give away the editing chore?
Yeah, a little bit. Because it's more than just chopping up the audio. You have to add in the music and the sound drops, and then you got to mix it all together. And Joey can't do that part yet.
No.
So it's like if you wash dishes every week, and then one week someone goes, I'll wash dishes for you, but just take care of the pots, the pans, the plates, and the cups, and the saucers, and I'll do everything else. And it's like, well, that's the knives and the forks.
Yeah.
You're making me feel bad now. I was trying to help out,
But again, I appreciate the help because when Joey does it, the amount of other things that I get to do is glorious.
Yeah.
And it's just a couple of days of holy shit, there's Monday Night Football? Oh my God.
I could watch Rise of Skywalker 3 more times this week.
But we have a team, and I don't know how people that do it by themselves do it at all. I don't think we would have a podcast if it was just one of us or just two of us.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I handle all the social media, all the networking, all that stuff. We wouldn't have video content if Adam didn't run our YouTube channel. It would not exist.
Yeah.
Period. Would not exist.
Yep.
Mark does so much on the editing end. It's insane. The show would not sound like it does if he wasn't doing it. So
we'll talk about at the end of the show.
Yep.
We'll get into what your show's all about. We just talked about the nuts and bolts. And people, if they've heard this, I'm sure they've heard So Wizard, but anybody that hasn't, go check it out. So we're here to talk about a movie. I'm going to use quotation marks, a movie. Which, funnily enough, on episode 13 of Piney Comics, when Sir John was my co-host, we actually did an episode where we had watched it that day. Okay. We were hanging out. It was on Tubi. We watched it. We hadn't seen it in a long time. And then we did maybe a 10-minute mini review. So this is one of the first callbacks we're doing.
Wow.
Yeah. The episode, when I used to title the episodes, funny things that were said during the episode, it was Junior Bostwick which was a reference to Barry Bostwick's dick, which you could see through half of this movie in his extremely tight fucking golden lame uniform. We're talking about 1982's Megaforce. This is a SFA 80s episode. This is the first audio one we're doing. We did these on videos. Science fiction, fantasy, and action of the 1980s, and we're usually doing like a B to below that level bent. So I said to Joe, I said, what's something you'd want to do? And right away it was Megaforce. Like it didn't even take a half a fucking second. Like he's like Megaforce. Like he's been thinking about Megaforce.
I have a backlog of terrible and cheesy movies. Oh, you ever seen when Chris Jericho was listing off all his moves on wrestling?
No.
He was feuding with Dean Malenko, who was the man of 1,000 holds. He came out to the ring and he said, I'm the man of 1,004 holds. And he had the giant list. And he unfurled it and went almost all the way down to the entrance level, and he was just reading them all off. That's me with bad 80s movies that I can inflict on people. So
okay. All right, fair. Mark, had you ever, prior to being subjected to this, because we just learned before this, you didn't know Daryl Hall and John Oates' Method of Modern Love.
Okay, I didn't know it until the chorus dropped. All right,
So there might have been a blind spot for you in the 80s to some things that were popular, again, quotes in the 80s. Had you ever seen Megaforce prior?
I don't think I've ever seen it. I know I definitely didn't see it as a kid. I know I wanted to.
Yeah.
Post Star Wars, I was all about anything that even looked remotely cool or science fiction-y. And
this was it.
I saw they advertised the hell out of this, and I wanted to see it so bad.
You could not have looked at a comic book in 1981 or 2 and not seen on the back cover Barry Bostwick pointing at you, urging you to join Megaforce.
Right.
Yeah.
I had the toys. I remember having all the toys.
Matchbox,
They were Matchbox or Hot Wheels cars.
Hot Wheels, pardon me.
They had the little rockets on the top of them. So
Yeah.
I had all those. This used to be on HBO a lot when I was a kid. That's how I saw it a lot. So
yeah, I didn't have HBO, but I do know that if you make a movie and there's matching toys to go with it, it's got to be good, right? At least that's what my young mind thought.
Right.
So that's why I really wanted to see it. But there was only, when I was a kid, there was only 3 movie theaters in Chicago, 3 big movie theaters. So for something like Megaforce, you would have to travel out of your way to go see it. And my parents were not going to be driving me anywhere to go see freaking Megaforce. And especially when like that summer, like E.T. and like Road Warrior, like all these other movies are playing, like they're not going to take me to go see Megaforce.
1982 is often considered the genre year, right? Mm-hmm. Star Trek II, The Thing, Blade Runner, as you said, I think Road Warrior. Road Warrior might have been 81, but yeah, E.T. This was a year of giant successes, and then Megaforce. So let's go over a little bit about Megaforce. We'll talk about the creators behind this thing. By the way, I wanted to point this out. This is one of the few. I think when I looked at the list, maybe 50. This is one of the few movies that has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No
nice.
way.
This is a 0%. And I got to be honest, I don't know. I don't like this movie. I don't know if this is a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
No way.
This is better than a 0, okay? It's not great. It has its moments. It's goofy as fuck. It's dated as fuck, but we'll get into all that.
Anybody giving this a 0 has cannot even conceptualize some of the bad movies I've seen. So.
A couple of the other big ones that were on there, or, if you want to say big, were Jaws 4 is a 0.
That's a fun bad movie.
And I wouldn't give that a 0 either. Oh. I only bring this up because my buddies at Forgotten Cinema did an episode, and I recognize the name Folks with an exclamation point. It's a Tom Selleck movie. That has a 0. And Problem Child, which, funnily enough, we just did in December on the Pint. Someone picked that.
What about Problem Child 2 and 3?
Yeah, only Problem Child 1 gets a 0, I guess.
Now, that's off. If your movie gets a sequel, if your movie gets a trilogy, there is no way the first one has to be a 0.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, it could have made a lot of money, though. It could have made a lot of money. So Megaforce comes out on June 25th, 1982. Directed by Hal Needham, who directed Smokey and the Bandit, Cannonball Run, and Rad. Now, Hal Needham is known, he was a stuntman in Hollywood, and we did on the QT, the Quentin Tarantino podcast. Hal Needham was the basis for the Brad Pitt character. Him and Burt Reynolds were like best friends, and those characters, the DiCaprio and Pitt character, were kind of based on those guys.
Oh, that makes sense.
Did he have dynamite abs when he was like fixing his roof or anything?
I don't know, but yeah, when he took his shirt off in that scene, I was like, Jesus, this guy's like 56.
Yeah.
This is good stuff, Brad Pitt.
All of a sudden, my daughter wanted to borrow Fight Club on DVD after we saw that. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, that whole scene in Fight Club where he takes his shirt off, I'm like, I don't know if that's real. I don't know if can men do that, and obviously
they can.
I certainly wouldn't fucking know. This movie's written by 4 fucking people. This is amazing. Okay, so it actually 5.
Three of them were asleep during the scripting, but
fucking 5 people. Pardon me. The story was by a guy named Bob Katchler. No other credits. So they ran him out of fucking Hollywood. The screenplay is 4 people. Hal Needham, who had written Smokey and the Bandit as well, and Stroker Ace, another Burt Reynolds racing movie.
Yep.
Andre Morgan, not Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast.
Future guest of So Was Her podcast.
There you go.
We were about to kick him off if he wrote Megaforce.
Albert S. Ruddy. He's probably the highest level writer. He wrote The Longest Yard. But you remember Bad Girls? It was like Young Guns with Drew Barrymore.
I saw that in the movie theater.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, he wrote Bad Girls. Wow. Madeline Stowe.
I was dating a girl in high school that I went to see it with, and she's a big Ace of Base fan.
Oh, of course. Well, who wasn't that?
That was her favorite band.
Wow.
What's your favorite band? Ace of Base. Do you like ABBA? No, I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. It's the same fucking thing. I saw The Sign, by the way.
Yeah, right. It opened up your eyes. All that she wanted was another baby, and I was out of there.
Yeah, I gotta go. James Whitaker, who wrote a movie called Gray Lady Down. So 5 fucking creative people wrote this movie. Let that one wash over you. The cast, we got Barry Bostwick. He plays Ace Hunter. He's the commander of Megaforce. You might know Barry Bostwick from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yes.
And Spin City. He was the mayor.
I love Rocky Horror.
I'm going to qualify myself. I never went to do Rocky Horror.
Okay.
I only saw it when I was about 15 is when they finally released it on VHS.
Yep.
And obviously this thing is a big thing. I'm smart enough to know it's a cultural phenomenon. Yep. So I rented it. As a movie.
It's horrible.
It's a terrible fucking movie. Susan Sarandon in a wet bra, good. Okay, that helped me through. Some good Meatloaf numbers, some good time warp. I'm not an idiot.
Probably after they kill Meatloaf, is the movie just hits a brick wall.
Oh, it's so fucking odd.
It's so boring.
It's so odd. But I can see how going in have you guys both done this before or no?
I have. Yeah.
I've done it twice.
Yeah.
I want to say like 5 or 6 times at this point. It's a blast in person, but watching it on your own that's a slog.
Yeah, this is not a movie you throw in.
No.
There's Bostwick. Michael Beck plays Dallas. He was in The Warriors, and he was in Mark's favorite, Xanadu.
That's right.
Can I tell you how excited I was when I saw him pop on the screen? I didn't know he was in this movie, and I'm like, oh my god, that's my guy, that's my dude. And then that changed later on in the movie. We'll get to that.
The
point.
Confederate flag, sure, yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. All the guys in Megaforce wear the country of origin on a patch on their shoulder. He's got a Confederate flag,
and I'm like, dude, come on.
Look, it's about heritage, not hate, Mark. Okay.
I thought it was great too because I'll have to go back. You guys have to get me the number somehow. I've never seen Xanadu, but I know from a running joke that Mark, did you actually like that?
Okay, isn't even close to it. I love Xanadu. Okay. I will get a Xanadu tramp stamp on my back if I could.
Jesus.
Wow.
If I could. No,
you can. You literally just have to go in and pay a tattoo artist and pull your pants down a little bit, and they will do it.
Olivia Newton-John and some sick tribal right on his back. It'd be great.
I'm all about it. No, I love Xanadu. It's one of those movies. It's like I like good movies.
Yeah. And Xanadu.
Xanadu is what Joey does. Like when there's a movie that's so bad that you love it, that's my Xanadu. And that's like one of the few movies that I have like that.
That's fair.
That's one of the running jokes. The second running joke for Xanadu on our show is that one of our original co-hosts, Tom, who's no longer with the show, he hasn't been on for 5 years at this point?
Probably.
When he left the show, the night that everything shit hit the fan, we were recording a special episode where we were reviewing Xanadu. So we didn't even get to record it when he left.
So Xanadu kind of broke him up.
He had, so that was part of the ring. He had to watch Xanadu and then didn't even get to record about it.
Left the show before it.
Well, I mean, have you ever obviously time heals everything. You guys are friends now, and you have been friends again. Have you ever just said, "Hey, what did you think about Xanadu?"
Oh, he hates it. To this day, if anyone brings it up, he gets angry. He had to watch it. But we always say each other with one of us is acting a lot out of line. Do you need to have a special screening of Xanadu?
that'll pop everybody off.
Right.
Persis Kambata, she plays Zara. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. She was bald in that.
Oh, was that her?
That's her.
That blew my. That's the other thing that blew my mind.
Yeah,
she's pretty hot.
She's super hot. She was actually a model, and she died very young. She died, I think, in like 87 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, she was sick. I don't know what it was.
She's pending it all on Megaforce. And didn't work out.
Yeah, she went to the premiere of Megaforce and died there. Edward Mulhare. General Byron White, you know him from Dunham. That was Devon from Knight Rider.
Yep.
He was the main guy in Knight Rider, and the guy who steals the fucking show. All right, from Buck Rogers. When I was a kid, he was in Buck Rogers, and he has a small role on Amazon Women on the Moon on a segment called what was it, Bullshit or Not? Henry Silva as Duke Guerra.
Oh,
he's the villain of the piece, but I don't know if he really is because. In no movie ever, like there. Okay, so we have movies where obviously this is a thing that's happened forever, where the villain and the hero were at one point like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan.
Yep.
At one point, there was something there. These two guys, if you put them in a room, they'd fuck. Ace Hunter and Guerra somehow are on opposite sides. They try to kill each other, but like they are best fucking friends.
Yeah, they're boys.
They're boys. I don't know how they could fucking. Look at each other in the eye after shooting missiles at each other and joking around about it for fucking ever. This thing was a $20 million budget. $20 million in the 80s, right? It made 3. All right? Filmed in southern Nevada. And so let's talk about it a little bit. Joey, what is Megaforce? What is in the actual movie, what's Megaforce?
From what I can understand, it's a independent military force that does stuff.
Yeah, they work for the top levels of government from different countries have all banded together to make one main kind of team, and Megaforce works for them.
So I'm glad that you said that, because I've never seen a movie more simplistic that I had a harder time following.
Yeah.
Okay, were you guys with me?
No, yeah.
I couldn't tell who the good guys were. I couldn't tell who the bad guys were. I couldn't tell who the guy from Knight Rider was.
Yep. A lot of this movie feels like you have the flu and you're laying on the couch watching like Channel 38 and you took NyQuil and you're kind of like dozing in and out, waking up, seeing episodes like Matlock or Dukes of Hazzard or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like you watch a movie and you fall asleep like every 10 minutes and wake up and see 4 minutes.
Yep.
Except that was the whole
movie. Yeah. Yep.
And there's no one on earth should say I had a hard time with the plot of Megaforce.
No.
But like as I tried to piece together who are they invading? So in the very beginning of the movie, Duke Guerra, he's got a bunch of tanks and he's kind of got this army consigned and they're reading out of a book and they blow up this installation.
And he has a Brooklyn accent, but I think he's supposed to be Spanish.
He's supposed to be some sort of Latin.
Yeah.
But it's like...
But he's like, hey, yo, get out of there. What are you doing?
Yeah. Very, very fucking confusing. And then we meet Zara and Hyde. And what the fuck was his name again here? The hell was it? Byron White. General Byron White. And we never really, like, I don't know, we don't really know what their deal is, right? She's the daughter of one of these countries that's being invaded, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of the king or of the general.
And I think like they can't go over their border and fight the general because it would start a war.
There's certainly border issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Of countries that don't exist that were never shown on a map. So it's kind of hard to figure out exactly what's
I think
happening.
at one point I was going to write down the countries and I just said, who the fuck cares?
They're like super bad made up.
Zamibia or something. Mark,
like when Black Adam is from the Middle East, but they don't want to say his country, so it's like Kandakaga or whatever.
He's from Kandak. So Mark, we get that scene, and then we get the scene where the general and the daughter like come over and they meet Dallas, right?
Yes.
Now, we talked a minute ago about the love affair between Ace Hunter and Duke. Who are the bad guy and the good guy.
Yep.
Have you ever seen, like any movie you can think of, any movie or TV show, G.I. Joe, that features a fighting force? Has there ever been a more grab-ass, good-time fighting force than Megaforce? These guys Dallas just doesn't stop for the whole fucking movie. Like, with the one-liners and the jokes and everything. Like, I don't know. Have you ever seen a bunch of guys that seem to be more like college frat guys than that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It looks like a bunch of college frat guys living their best dream.
Yeah.
It's like, here's some weapons, here's a place to hang out, and you can do whatever you want. And Dallas is like the party guy of them all.
He is there to fucking have a good time. He's got a Ford Bronco that shoots holographs. Not holograms, by the way. I don't know. I thought they were holograms. He keeps calling them holographs. Like, so in the movie, they keep on using it as like almost like a defensive weapon. Not a weapon, but a distraction. They can project a hologram, right?
But it's always the same hologram.
It's
just
a
like
woman.
some girl on a beach.
Yeah.
And I keep wondering, why does this keep confusing these bad guys? They're in the middle of the desert. They shoot this thing that looks like a beach that's only like the size of a movie theater screen.
Barely that big.
It's better than a spirograph, I guess.
Oh, God. It's yeah.
I'm sure the producers of the movie was like, we need chicks in bikinis in this movie. How are we going to do that? Well, we can make a holograph. Fine, go, do it.
Yeah.
Put a couple of scenes of that and let's go.
Did you notice the rampant sexism with the Zara character?
I was just going to say that. This is our first instance of every character in the movie and every scene sexually harassing her for the entire movie.
She's not only sexually harassed, but they keep on, like, she wants to join Megaforce, right? Because she's made it clear she's some kind of, like, she's the daughter of the general, and she's a badass.
Yeah.
When there's a scene where we'll talk about it, where they jump out of a plane together. She does it before Ace. She's like, I'm fucking better than you. Ace just keeps saying, no, we can get a man, like, we'll get a man for the job.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this movie would not, like, Megaforce 2022 would certainly be a different thing. It would certainly be different. We wouldn't have the Confederate flag anymore. We probably wouldn't, like, really go that far into the Zara thing. Let's get into what every kid in 1982 wanted to get into, though. The one saving grace. Did you enjoy these vehicles, guys? Were you into the Megaforce vehicles?
Dude, I love these vehicles. Like, I wanted these toys when I was a kid, big time. So a motorcycle with no spokes in the wheels, like, that was the first time I'd ever seen that. That was like amazing. So yeah, I thought the vehicles were cool. I think it's funny that that they designed the toys first and then made the vehicles afterwards.
Yeah,
and the vehicles are like impossible to like do anything really cool in. But they look cool.
Well, I mean, and let's not forget too how inconvenient it is. If you want to fire a missile on this bike, you have to do a fucking wheelie to aim like upwards. Like, I don't know.
We'll get into that later, but man, this movie, like, they have these cool looking vehicles, and then they just drive around in circles, and that's it. Like, they don't do anything.
Well, they shoot a bunch of balloons or something, whatever the hell
those were balloons.
They shoot missiles in the air when everything is right in front of them.
Yeah, it just seems like Megaforce is constantly having a fucking good time.
Yeah.
And just shooting off missiles.
Everybody's drunk. They're doing wheelies on bikes. Like, they don't care.
Do you know something else about this movie? And I did read, they said that there was a case of only 3 people. Nobody dies in this movie. Did you notice that? They said that there's a scene, I think, where I had a hard time remembering it, but I guess one of the Megaforce vans evaporates a bazooka guy.
Yeah, there's like 3 guys hanging by a bazooka, and then
those are the only 3 guys in the movie that like get hurt,
but they don't even
die.
They don't even really explain like what happened to them. Like the van is there with a radar dish on the top or whatever. He cuts to him, and it shows them setting up the RPG or whatever. Yeah. He cuts back to the guy in the van. He's like, "Well, I'll take care of that." And he hits just random buttons like you do in a 80s sci-fi movie. And then it cuts back to them, and they're just gone.
Yeah, like, no smoke, no nothing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I was confused. Like, did they run away? Like, what happened? They're just gone.
Yeah, the editing in this thing isn't great either. We find out that they're gonna, they go to the secret underground lair, of course, which everybody from these type of movies have.
Cost $40 billion.
$40 billion. This was the first. This actually movie was considered groundbreaking. Inavision, it was called.
Yes.
So that scene where they walk into the lair, and it's obviously like a matte painting behind it. Mm-hmm. It's the first time they did that in a movie where it's called Inavision, and instead of having a set, they could set a photograph up and overlay, or as the goat from the Adam Sandler thing would say, superimpose these guys over that. So this movie, there's a couple things about this movie that's actually a little bit impressive. The other one is that they went to the military to try to get vehicles. The tanks that Guerra's people use are actual military vehicles. And the military was like, we'll let you use some, but they were kind of reticent. After the guy designed, I didn't write his name down, but a guy designed all of the Megaforce vehicles. Right. For $1 million, he made 30 different things. He made like 15 bikes, and he made the vans and everything. the U.S. military contacted them because they wanted to look at them to actually possibly like get the plans for this shit, right? That's fucking absolutely fucking crazy.
We're so close to getting a real Megaforce.
We almost had a Space Force a couple years ago, man. Or I think we might actually have a Space Force. I'm not really sure.
We do.
This close.
Have you ever seen the Space Force recruitment commercial?
No.
Holy shit, dude.
I did see it.
If I was 15 and I saw this commercial, I would be at the fucking recruiting office the next day.
You would have been in the Space Force show?
It's all these fucking like astronauts and like people like walking in slow motion, and then there's like this voice is like, oh, they gotta get my voice on. It's like, maybe your destiny isn't on the earth, maybe it's in the stars. And I'm like, yes it is, yes. I'm like, get me to the recruitment office immediately.
You have to check this out.
I don't even know what Space Force would do at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no fucking idea. That's for sure. We've seen in other movies before unearned love interests. We've seen characters fall in love that you're just like, okay, that's plot driven. Mm-hmm. This may be the biggest example of all time. Was there a reason that Ace Hunter and Zara were destined to fall in love?
Did you see the blue headband? I mean, that's pretty much did it for me. I'm like, yeah, if I was her, I'd be all over this guy.
Yeah,
he's just a charming rogue. And she's a princess. I mean, it practically writes itself.
You're right.
It was either that or a guy with a Confederate flag on his shoulder.
Yeah, so. She didn't have much of a choice. She had 3 guys she could have banged while she was hanging out with Megaforce. It was either Dallas, but he's obviously some kind of like low-key racist. He's trying to hide it with his jovial manner, but he's got a Confederate flag on. Ace Hunter, who, hey, this is the leader. Right, this guy, he gets to they wear that dress blue. He's got like, it's almost like Star Trek 2. He's got that flap over. And then the other guy is the scientist, Dr. Eggman or whatever his name was. He's like 70 fucking years old. I'm not going to bang this guy. Oh man, Joey, what is, let's focus a little bit. What is some of the pure ridiculousness in this movie that you just glom onto, that your kind of thing?
You know, I like the mission they have that is only at a 5-minute window.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. And the fact that you get it on the screen.
You get the countdown on the screen. You have no fucking idea what's happening the entire time. It's so dark, and they're just driving around in circles with stuff exploding.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what's happening at all during this whole thing, and then they finish it. I love the intro of the bikes. Like you said, they ride out and it's like slow motion and they're all doing wheelies and a bunch of balloons fly out that they shoot rockets at for some reason. And a lot of the scenes just linger enough where you can see the stuntmen fuck up on the bikes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Which is perfect. Yep.
Did you also notice now, I guess it wasn't all the characters, but I mean, there was one in particular. So like, obviously they have, the different nationalities. There's the Asian guy. But like the Mexican guy, I felt like was a white guy doing a really bad Latin impression.
Yep.
And it made me feel uncomfortable. He's like, "Ay caramba" at one point. I'm like, I don't know. I know some Latin people, and they're never saying "ay caramba."
Speedy Gonzalez was offended by him.
I liked one of the things I liked about the tech was the what looked to be the old style spiral phone cords that were plugged into their helmets on the side. And did I miss something? But did you guys also think, now I know that they had that one scene real quick where he put the hat on the...
Right.
But they didn't explain that well enough. I thought that they had black dune buggies as well. So when they leave the plane and they go for that nighttime mission, they're in the black dune buggies. I didn't realize that was supposed to be the same dune buggies, but with like that camouflage, right? The photosensitive camouflage.
Oh, is that what that was?
Exactly.
I didn't
get it either.
No,
yeah.
I had no idea.
That one scene where he puts the hat on is supposed to tell you that, like, I guess when it gets dark out, they turn black.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I was waiting for that scene to come up again because they introduced it along with the holograph. So I was waiting for it to come up again in the movie. I didn't catch that. It did.
That must have been why Dallas wasn't around at that part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because there was blacks.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
Dallas is like, I'm not going on this mission.
You can make the car black. I'm out of here.
That's right.
You're on your own.
A little dark for my taste. Mark, what did you think about the skydiving love scene?
When the Can You Read My Mind Superman music started playing, I'm like, oh no. Oh, no. I give him props for combining live action, like real footage of people skydiving, along with InstaVision or whatever it was.
Yeah, InnoVision, yeah.
And but the best part of that is because we've been introduced to Ace Hunter, so we know what Barry Bostwick looks like. He's a tall dude, lanky dude. When he lands on the ground, he's like 5'5". Like they couldn't get a stunt double that was a little bit taller, a skydiver that was a little bit taller. Like he looked super short when he landed. So I'm like, whatever. But it was fine.
Again, being a kid, you couldn't read comics and not see this Megaforce ad. So I Googled, I said, you know what? Any comics from the 82 that had the ad, and it gives you a list. So I found a copy of a Daredevil 186 in Frank Miller, by the way, in my collection. And you could have, back then, Mark, this would have been good for you. Get your official Megaforce membership kit for only $1 US dollars. The official Megaforce patch, a Megaforce membership card, and a reflective bike decal.
Nice.
And that offer is signed by Commander Ace Hunter.
Nice.
Mark, so you could have had that. See?
Yep, I would have ordered it. My parents would have taken me to go see Megaforce, and as soon as Dallas came on the screen, I would have been like, "That's it.
That's it.
we're out of here.
We got to go." And they trick you with Dallas too, because he doesn't put that uniform on until like halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're already committed at that point.
you're committed. You're like, "Fuck, this movie's an hour and 12 minutes, and I've already at 66 or 62 minutes in. I might as well watch
Mark's
the
got
rest."
his Megaforce pack he sent away for, and he's like, "Wait, we're the bad guys."
Let's talk about the uniforms in Megaforce a little bit. They were these gold lame things, right?
Yes, made out of Lycra, I believe.
And do you know who made them? This is an incredible factoid.
No.
Oh boy.
No costume designer on Megaforce. The uniforms were created by a little known company, Mattel.
What?
Mattel made the Megaforce fucking uniforms. I don't know why. I don't know if they thought maybe that they would start selling these like, Christmas time. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it, you've got the Lycra beige uniform. You got the utility belt that he hangs that giant fucking motorcycle helmet off of. And then you get the Darth Vader box on the front, which I'm not sure what happens with that. Very bizarre, but made by fucking Mattel.
Yeah.
Joe, if that had come out back in 82, would you think that'd be under the tree?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have no shame. I was a fucking weird kid, man. It's fine.
If Megaforce had done well enough, if it had hit, which it did not, obviously, 3 million out of 20 million, they would have started filming. They had a plan to start filming the sequel in September of 82. June of 82, Megaforce comes out. They're like, okay, if this thing hits, September we're filming Megaforce 2, and the title would have been Deeds, Not Words.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Which is on the poster, but I don't remember them ever saying it or seeing it in the movie, but it's all over the poster. And they said that the only other thing that they had planned was it would have been in a tropical locale this time.
Of course.
So think about what the fuck you guys missed out on.
Seriously, Megaforce : Deeds Not Words.
Deeds Not Words.
It's fucking amazing.
I was hoping for Megaforce 2 Electric Boogaloo, but
There you go.
It was taken.
Think about this. We could have been on our 40th Megaforce movie by now. This could have been every 2 years. It could have been like Bond. We could be on our 6th Ace Hunter.
No, they would be rebooting it right now with Bradley Cooper and someone else.
At one point, I didn't write it down. I did read in like 2007, back, especially that point where they started just doing all that garbage. They decided to reboot Megaforce, and then they abandoned it. I think they were like, nobody saw this in 82, right? And they actually had pretty cool, vehicles and everything. It just did not work out.
It would have been like young kids in the new Megaforce, and it'd be like the dead speak. Duke is back.
Yeah. Or Duke would be like, he's now joined Megaforce.
That's right.
He'd be like Magneto changing sides every 2 fucking issues of the comic. Yeah.
He's attached to a big crane.
The more you're talking about it, the more I want it.
You want this in your life now.
Yes.
Jars with Barry Boswick clones everywhere in the background.
Jesus.
Megaforce: The Rise of Hunter. I'm all about it. All about it. Bring it.
Let's talk about Duke a little bit. Let's talk about
my favorite part of the movie, where we spend the entire middle of the movie with Zara proving she's worthy to go on a mission, only for him to go, well, you did a great job, but no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
25 minutes of that.
Yeah, what does she do? She plays that like weird video game.
The skydiving,
the video game, and she just keeps acing everything.
Yeah, she's like top of the line and everything. And he's like, nah, no women in this.
That's right, only dudes.
That's right.
But can we talk even more alarmingly?
White dudes.
White dudes, yeah. Can we talk? No, there is Zachary Taylor.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Zachary Taylor.
Reading Shakespeare.
Quoting Shakespeare. Listening to
Vivaldi?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
He had Star-Lord's Walkman.
He did, actually, yeah. He solves the Rubik's Cube like that, right?
Oh,
was
yeah,
that him?
that's right, yeah.
That's how you know this movie was 1982. There's a Rubik's Cube in it.
That'd be founds people. They're like, what is this? How do I do this?
Like, I can't. I've been working on this for, what does the guy say, 6 weeks, and I can't even get one side yet. It's like, yeah, you know what? I had a Rubik's Cube when I was a kid, and you know what? As soon as I figured out I wasn't ever figuring that thing out, it ended up like just on the fucking floor somewhere.
Just peel the stickers.
I never did that, but I have friends. I have friends that fucking solved that thing, and I'm still jealous of them. I don't know. So you mentioned though that she does all this stuff, and she proves consistently that she's as good as, if not better than, almost all the guys on Megaforce.
Mm-hmm.
And he just basically says, no, you're not coming. You're not a, he essentially says you're not a man. But is that worse than the fact she's still like, I love you? Like they come up with this whole like kiss your thumb and point at each other thing. And like meanwhile he's just like, stay home and make the dinner for tonight. I'll be home at midnight. And she's just like, oh, he's so irresistible.
Chicks love a bad boy,
Yeah.
I got to get a powder blue headband.
That powder blue headband, Mark is right. There is something about it.
And the thing that I really enjoyed about the headband is that when the stuntman did all those crazy stunts on a motorcycle, you could tell which one was Ace Hunter because of the long flowing blue headband.
Yeah. How did you feel about this is how I equated it when I watched it the other night. And I think you guys are from Springfield, Massachusetts, right?
Right around that area.
I know, Mark, you're from Chicago, so maybe you don't remember this, but Joey might more. Did you like the fact that their attack vehicles, all of the vehicles were Caldor colored, right? Like the dirt rainbow, as I always called it, the browns and the oranges and the brasses. Like it looks like Caldor is attacking you.
Right.
All right, Mark, you've been around long enough to remember Caldor.
Yeah, I do remember Caldor, and I never put that together until just now.
See, if we had gotten enough sequels of Megaforce, we could have had them colored from the Caldor rebrand when it was white and red.
White and red. Yeah, right before they went out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, well, the dude did have a red and white helicopter that got blown up.
That's right, for no reason.
Yeah, I know. What was that? Like that. So
it's just like, fuck your shit. They just blew it up.
Yeah, very strange.
Well, it was his fault that they almost never made it back. It was the main general's fault, the Knight Rider guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy that sent them in there and let them get trapped and not have a way to get back home.
Yeah, that's like the big dramatic turn at the end. So at the end, where we have the 4 minutes, which is fucking like just laser excitement. 4 minutes of them driving around and fucking doing fucking donuts and blowing things up.
Mm-hmm.
And
I really can't stress enough like how much you cannot fucking understand what's happening in that 4 minutes.
No, you can't. No, I'm going back to what I said in the beginning, and I'm glad you guys said it as well. This movie is hard to fucking follow for a movie that should be the simplest thing to follow.
Yeah.
The basic plot is like, you're like, okay, so it begins with Duke attacking that place, and he's a mercenary of some sort.
Right.
So the general, the guy from Knight Rider, that's his country, I think.
Yeah.
They can't retaliate for some reason. They can't
retaliate
right.
because that would be considered an act of war, which I would think that the attack would have been an act of war, but that's just me. So they go. They never say how they found out about Megaforce is like the A-Team. They're the worst kept secret on fucking Earth, by the way. You remember the A-Team? It's like, if you need help. And it's like these guys, they've been fucking running from the American government for being, for leaving Vietnam and all this stuff. But every goddamn week, someone finds the A-Team. Oh, here comes my dogs. Hold on one sec. All right, let's jump into let's talk about Duke a little bit. I think you got to talk about the Duke character. He's probably the nicest bad guy we've ever met before.
Yes.
Ever. Period. In the history of time.
Except for he steals people's lighters, but other than that, he's good.
He steals lighters, but him and Ace, they went to the academy together, right? The Megaforce Academy? I don't know.
They serve together. That's all that matters. They serve
together. Mm-hmm. And Ace he doesn't seem to want to like even go up against him in terms of like, he doesn't want to hurt him.
Yep.
He still has a fondness for him. It's really weird. It's really like a grab-assy type relationship. I hate using that word because I don't usually use it, but I can't think of anything else with the love of these. Ace, it's like big hug and what have you been up to, Duke? And I'm like, this is the bad guy in the movie.
It's a really weird scene. Like, why didn't they just arrest him or kill him?
Right.
The movie's over there.
Right, because there's still Megaforce. It's only him and a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
So even if like when he tells them, so let's just get it out there. So they're told you've now started a war. Megaforce has started a war.
Right.
We, the guy from Knight Rider, General, cannot let you out because you started a war. And on the other side, Duke's forces are waiting for you, and they're gonna between you and freedom is this lineup of tanks.
Yep.
They're going to fuck your ass up. But right then and there, they have Duke right there. You're right. I mean, how refreshing would it have been as if like one of them just pulled a gun out and shot him in the head?
Yeah.
Which, in that situation, but yet meanwhile, these guys are like, no, we're going to risk it all.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to risk everything.
We're going to make a suicide run right at these tanks and all die. But we have the guy right in front of us.
And we're going to let him get in back into his...
He's in a news helicopter. Just blow him up.
Yeah. Yeah. Very plot contrived. Like, we have to have Megaforce go, into that dry lake bed. That's got to happen.
Yep.
Because if that doesn't happen, we're not going to get, the button combination that, like, let's be honest, right? if Megaforce came out today,
Yes.
the filmmakers expected that to be the moment that people are getting out of their seats and like air humping the fucking air and just like going fucking absolutely crazy.
A lot of this movie felt like they shot the scenes with the cars before the script was even written.
I was just about to say that. It feels like a Tom Cruise movie where they design all of the stunts first and then they try to come up with a script to like connect it all together.
Figure out what's going on. Yeah. Like, okay, so we've got like 40 minutes of fucking dune buggy mayhem.
Yeah.
Now you're going to come in, Egghead, and you're going to write words to go with what these people are going to say.
We've got this car doing donuts with missiles on top of it. Make a movie. But a lot of those scenes too with the cars, it felt old. Like the movie's not super old. You know what I mean? It's an 80s movie. I mean, it's old, but it's not old.
Yeah.
It felt old. It felt like watching an old TV show or even those movies the other guy made, like Cannonball Run or whatever. It felt like that. Didn't feel like an action movie.
I think because they're trying really hard to like not have any real consequences or action.
Right.
I mean, how many do any of these vehicles like get blown? Like even in the tank run, are we? I don't even remember now. Are they blowing vehicles up at all or no?
There's a couple of cars that do get smashed up. There's one car. There's probably one of my favorite scenes where the car it malfunctions. It's not working anymore, and the guy that's at the control turns it into a detonator, and they launch it over the fence, and it smashes into the building and blows up. That I thought was pretty cool. So there's probably like 3 or 4 cars that maybe get destroyed. 3 or 4 Megaforce cars.
There's that one guy that falls off the motorcycle, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna all rewatch that later."
Yeah, yeah. He broke both his arms and his leg and his coccyx, but we're gonna laugh about that.
It reminded me almost of like G.I. Joe the movie when Duke clearly gets impaled through his heart, and then later on they're like, "He's okay."
Yeah, no, it was a fucking flesh wound.
That's right. Don't worry, kids. This guy you just saw die is fine.
He's all right. They killed Optimus Prime. We can't kill Duke. That wouldn't be fair. That ruined everybody's lives. Dallas withstanding. I know he would have been your favorite if it didn't end up with the incidental racism thing.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite member of the Megaforce?
I gotta go with Ace Hunter.
Yeah.
The thumb kiss point thing is just the most ridiculous thing, but the look on his face after he delivers it, that kind of look, it's priceless. It's priceless. So yeah, he's definitely my favorite character.
All right, Joey.
Robert Fuller as pilot. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, it's Ace Hunter.
See, I go a different way. I wanted more of that guy in the back of the command van with the satin jacket on that looks like he works at a bowling alley. The guy that, like, the button guy. Didn't get a name, at least that I heard. He didn't have the same uniform. He seemed like someone's fucking uncle or dad. But they kept going back to him. He was like the quarterback, you know, he's like, oh, there's 4 bogeys in the air, Ace. And, you know, I kind of like that guy, but yeah, I guess in the end I'll go with Ace Hunter as well.
I kind of feel like that guy was put there because they did a cut of the movie and it made no sense at all. And they're like, we need someone to kind of explain what the hell's going on.
You think that it was months later.
Right.
Fucking Barry Bostwick is off making whatever the fuck everybody's making something else, and they're like, this thing makes little sense. They're like, you know what we could do? Let's get a room full of buttons, light everything up. We'll make that the command van, and you know what? We'll get your Uncle Hank. He's here today. Yeah, the guy in the fucking in the satin jacket. Put a Megaforce patch on it.
Yep.
Sit him down, and we'll give him like 10 lines to read.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, you might absolutely be fucking right about that.
Yeah.
You might absolutely be right about that. Hot Wheels, as Joey had talked about earlier, did make a series of these. And here's what they made. They made the Mega Destroyer. Mm-hmm. They made, 2 of them. They made the Mega Destroyer in the Caldor coloring, and they made the Mega Destroyer in the camo black. Those were the dune buggies. Mm-hmm. They made the personnel carrier, which is just that red Ford Bronco in the beginning. That's a Megaforce vehicle. It's a fucking Ford Bronco that like anybody could have had. The Mega Fighter, which was the 6-wheeled van.
Yep.
I think
with
that was
radar dish
the
on
radar
top.
dish on top. They made that. The bikes, Mark, did you know what the bikes are called? I think he says it in the movie, but because I think I remember hearing it, but
no.
They're the TAC cams. TAC-CAM. TAC cams.
It's a horrible name.
Sounds like it might mean tactical camouflage or something like that. And then there is one tank they made, which was, I think, one of Guerrero's tanks.
Okay.
It was green. And I don't think they had any tanks. Now, did you have them all, Joey?
I had them all. They came in 3 packs.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling I had some of them.
I may have got them at Caldor's, to be quite honest with you, or to really age myself. And I swear that So Wizard is a very hip, cool, young podcast. We're now. I may have got him at 2 guys, actually, if you
I don't even know what the fuck that is. No. No. Wow, 2 guys. Was that a Massachusetts thing? Or?
It might have been. There was one where the Caldor was afterwards. It went out of business, and then Caldors took over that building.
If I'm going old school department stores, New England.
Yep.
I'm going for, especially this area, Caldor.
Bradley's.
Zayres. I say Zayres sometimes. He actually has a logo.
Yeah, I don't know Zayres.
Zayres had a red logo.
No, it was orange.
Was it orange?
Orange
Holy
with an asterisk. It was like Zayres.
It was an asterisk, absolutely. And the Zayre that's closest to here in the next town over, Meriden, when they closed, it became an Ames.
Ames.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm going with those options from when I was a kid.
Kmart.
Obviously. I always think Kmart's like big league, you know? Because they don't exist anymore.
They were nationwide, though. So.
Right. Bradley, remember Miss B? Mrs. B did all the commercials.
There was a mall in Chicopee. It doesn't even exist anymore. They tore it down. It had Bradley's at one side and Caldor's at the other side.
Fucking talk about anchors for a mall right there.
Bro, I got so many G.I. Joes, Transformers, like He-Man, Star Wars at that mall. And there was a KB Toys in the middle, an arcade, a comic book store, a bookstore. That was
the time.
This sounds like a good mall.
Perfect mall.
This sounds like a good mall. It sounds like the mall, most of the malls of my childhood.
Yeah.
I got a lot of my toys growing up in Hamden, which is probably 15 minutes from here. There was a Child World. You ever go to Child World?
Yeah, there was one West Springfield, Mass.
That was man. That Child World was around more. Toys R Us was around, but it was before I think there was any around here. Mm-hmm. So that was like always my go-to.
Yeah,
and then Toys R Us opened up, and all of a sudden it's like holy shit.
The thing for us, where I lived in Holyoke, Massachusetts, was that Child World. Toys R Us, those were longer rides. They were in Springfield, the ass end of Springfield, the ass end of West Springfield.
Right.
So it's like special occasions. So like we're going to go on your birthday to Toys R Us. Like it wasn't something I went all the time.
Right.
It was Toys R Us was in a mall attached to Leechmere.
Oh, Leechmere. We had one of those. We had at least one of those up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember getting Star Ears figures there. If you remember those.
Star Ears, absolutely. The fucking robot guys.
Yeah, and Centurions.
Oh, God.
I had no friends. My mom would buy me anything I pointed at and a ton of comic books.
Nice.
Yeah, hey, look, nothing wrong with that, man. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
You know what? I was not a kid that liked to read. My sister got straight A's all the way through school. And she was reading when she was like came out of the womb with a book in her hand. And I didn't want to read nothing. And then I started reading comics, and my mom was just so happy I was reading that she just buy me comics anytime I fucking left the house. Like,
That's
here,
awesome.
have some more comics. I'm like, all right. She didn't buy me business magazines or muscle and fitness or anything, unfortunately.
No Men's Health.
That's right, unfortunately.
I thought you were going to fold it into I never read as a kid until I saw Megaforce. And then I was like, this movie has taken the joy of movies away from me.
No, I wouldn't have read if I liked Megaforce because it's deeds, not words.
Exactly. Deeds, not words. Absolutely. So let's get to the end. Let's get to what is the exciting part of the fucking movie.
The crowning achievement of this movie.
So Megaforce has got to get through the tanks,
right?
And they do. Right? They blow the shit out of fucking Duke's fucking forces.
Well, they
right?
figure out there's a path.
Oh, on that awesome 80s computer?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's they're surrounded by 3 sides of mountain.
The hunchback came over and told them about the goat path around back.
But right here, we've got this shallow ravine that comes through. So you guys are all going to go towards...
That you just happen to be able to fit all your vehicles and everyone through.
He did say that. He said, if we can get everybody through, and I'm like, more like when you get everybody through, it's very easy. But in terms of this is a plot contrivance.
It's a fucking road, though. Like, they made it sound like it was this hidden secret path. It's a fucking road. Yeah. They get the whole army through there.
They come through with their army, and they come through and they just blast away.
Yeah, their plan was because they do have, I want to say they had 2 planes, and the thing was the planes had to go and distract the tanks first and take all of the shots. So one of the planes gets taken out.
This is a really stupid plan because that's the planes they're using to evacuate. And their plan is to have the tanks shoot the planes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. So,
which, by the way, I was you did say one of the planes gets taken out, but I'm not a tank operator, but I'm pretty sure I could hit a fucking plane that size. Let me put it this way. If I was a trained tank operator, I feel like if you're flying a fucking giant cargo plane, I don't know, a couple hundred yards away from me, and they're flying super low, so low you can see a jackrabbit.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure my video game training would let me just go boom and take it out. These guys are blasting away, and the plane's it's not a fucking F-14 and F-16. It's just fucking moving like this.
Huge cargo plane.
Giant plane. They can't hit the fucking thing.
Yep. But the trick works. The plane, one plane gets taken out, the other plane distracts them, and it lets Megaforce sneak in between the tanks.
They get through the tanks. They get through. And
of course, the bikes come riding out first, and they're shooting their.
Oh yeah, the smoke! The smoke!
The rainbow color smoke.
What the fuck was up with that?
Well, first of all, they shoot rocket. Anytime they're shooting rockets in this, they're always going off. Like they're supposed to be shooting something in front of us, and the rockets like go flying.
Well, because they're doing wheelies and the fucking wheels shaking and everything. Yeah,
but so that's ridiculous to begin with. Then they have to distract the tanks, so they all activate like smoke.
Yes.
It's all different colors.
Yeah. The United Colors of Benetton and Megaforce.
That's right. Did anyone tell Duke that they were going to have LBGTQ colors on the
on his parachute?
Or what was the guy the racist guy?
Dallas.
Did anyone tell Dallas this?
I think Dallas probably did it on purpose.
That's right.
Wait till he opened up his chute. It's going to be a rainbow in there.
Yeah. I almost wondered, like, when I saw that, if, like, someone like, one of the screenwriters like, well, we can't take out that even in 82, like, we can't take out the Confederate flag. That doesn't look good for Dallas. You know what? Let's get the colors, the LGBTQ colors in there somewhere. It'll balance out. Like, because that was just very distracting. Like, it was cool. It looked cool, and you could tell, like, the day they filmed that, they were probably like, oh, man, this was fucking great.
A lot like The Last Jedi when they were riding on the salt there.
Yeah, except for it was different colors.
Rian Johnson stole this shit from Megaforce.
Holy shit.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen Last Jedi, so I don't remember. So the Megaforce gets through. The plane lands, and they all get on. They have to abandon the vehicles.
Right, because there's only one plane left. They can't fit the vehicles on and the people. So everybody has to leave their vehicles that they're going to set to self-destruct.
Right.
Did we see them self-destruct or no?
No.
Okay, all right. I was like, that was not in the budget.
It's only a $20 million movie here. Come on.
So they all get in, and they start taking off. But the problem is, Ace has gone down.
Yes, his motorcycle goes down, and for some reason, the Japanese guy and the black guy don't see him. They're like, hey, everyone's on.
They're like, let's go.
Like, no one's there.
It's like you ever see Open Water when they counted the people wrong? You ever see that? Like, let's just fucking go. You know how that movie ended. But so they leave Ace, and now Dallas is like at the con, and now for once, we're being serious in Megaforce. Like, you're not taking this plane off, and like, we got to get out of here. And okay, so Ace finally gets up, and he drags himself up, and Joey, walk us through this part, because obviously this is the fucking piece de resistance of the film. So
they've never said anything before in the movie about this, but you hit a button on the motorcycle and it flies.
Oh, it flies.
No, he says it in the beginning when he goes to Egg. He's like, Egg, did you work on that thing? And he's like, we're testing it out in a wind tunnel right now. 1 and then 2. And he's like, all right, 1 and then 2. Got it.
All right.
But that's like, 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, at the very beginning of the movie, he does say that, and like I love how he's like, like you said, did he work it out? And you're waiting for him to go, okay, 2 switches, 1, and then 2 Ace. All right,
you think you can handle it?
Left, right.
Wings come out of the side of the motorcycle, and it starts flying in some of the worst special effects you've ever seen in your life.
I as I was watching this on like Wednesday afternoon, I think, or Tuesday night, I took a still shot of it and had to send it to Joey and said, what the fuck's happening here? Like, because it's just obviously Barry Bostwick on like a gimbaled fucking motorcycle, right. But like then they're doing all this shit, and he's got the faces going along with it, and then of course Megaforce is on the plane, and they see this, and they're just all jerking each other off like, it's Hunter,
and he spins around at one point.
Oh yeah,
like his hair is like billowing in the wind.
It's like, oh, you're gonna make yourself sick if you do that, man.
Oh god.
It reminded me of the end of Toy Story with Woody and Buzz trying to get on the truck.
Reminded me of the end of Toy Story, except for not great at all.
Except it sucked.
Except this was horrible.
My favorite thing is that they're obviously in a desert. We just watched 20 minutes of them in a desert, but when you see Barry Bostwick in the air, the ground beneath him has all of this greenery behind him.
Oh, shit. I didn't even notice that.
I'm like, where's the sand? What happened to the desert?
Don't worry about it.
I was too enamored with just watching like the faces he was making. He gets on and they fucking go nuts like they just won the fucking World Series.
Yep.
And he tells the pilot, I got a date in London because he keeps talking about meeting Zara in London. Who she could do so much better. She's gorgeous. She's obviously an athlete. She's obviously very smart, but for whatever reason,
with or without hair,
and she's got a fucking case of the ace, I guess. But he's like, one stop before we go, And I'm like, oh, well, what's he going to do? Mark, what is his stop? Like, I think he's going to get off the fucking plane and go give Zara a hug.
Yeah.
But he's not like, he's less like of a lover than he is a spiteful guy. What does he do on that last scene?
He makes sure that the motorcycle is pointing at the back of the plane and that the door is open, and he fires and blows up the helicopter that belonged to the general and Zara. Have
you ever seen someone so happy that their property was just fucking destroyed by some fucking asshole guy? Like, he's like, oh, that fucking ice hunter.
They gotta walk home now.
He's like, we gotta walk home in the middle of the fucking desert. And he's like, good chap.
Yeah, he was very proud of that helicopter, too, because it had, like, plush carpeting or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
It was put in there.
It was nice. It was like a long helicopter. Yep. I think it had double rotors. Fucking blew it right out of the water. So then we get to the end of the movie. I was embarrassed for everybody involved, but Zara's on the ground and Ace is up in the plane, and we get that they're like the 9th time they've done this in the movie.
The
thumb kiss and the thumbs up, and then Ace Hunter, the thumb kiss and like the thumbs up, and then the movie just kind of ends there.
Freeze frame.
You're waiting. I didn't get all the way through the credits. I didn't go. I'm wondering if at the end did it say Ace Hunter will return?
You should have watched the end of the credits. There was a scene at the end.
No, you're fucking with me.
I shut it off. It was just playing the credits with an absolutely terrible song. And they were showing the same scenes of the cars driving in circles, blowing stuff up. So I'm like, I can't take this anymore, and I shut it off.
But it wasn't. It was a scene that you've already seen in the movie. They just replayed it, and it's the scene where Ace knocks on the tank of the general, and he opens it up, and he's like, "Oh, the good guys always win, especially in the 80s."
In the 80s.
In the 80s, yeah.
And then they freeze frame it again, and then it's over.
That's right. That's right, because Duke at one point said something like, we can't be as idealistic as the 70s, man. Yeah. Oh, fucking Megaforce. Megaforce. Interesting.
Megaforce.
All right, well, like Planet Comics, we always do it. We have a scale, much like you guys, 0 to 5. We do quarter and half scale. We have to rate it after talking about this thing for an hour. So I want you to reach into your heart and see how you feel about Megaforce right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Don't think about like how you probably felt when you were 7 and this came out and you just looked and you wanted to fucking put your hands on Bostwick's face and all that stuff. So Joey, we'll start with you. Now you are a notorious lover of bad movies.
Yes.
And Megaforce, no matter how you cut it, is a bad movie.
Yes.
Okay. I have a Letterboxd account. I'm not a lover of bad movies, but there's some movies I give 2 stars to that I still give the little like option to.
Okay.
Because, yes, it's not a good movie, but I liked it, right? So where are you at on a scale of 0 to 5?
I think it's about a 3.
Holy
for me.
Fuck.
Wow.
I like to rate each movie on its own, so I'm not like comparing it to other movies. It's this movie itself, 0 to 5. A 5 out of 5 for a glorious bad movie is not unknown for me, but this isn't that glorious. There's not as many funny things in it. It's more excruciating.
Yeah.
The scene at the end where he flies the bike is almost worth the full 3 stars in and of itself. I was howling laughing watching it, but it needed more of that throughout the whole movie. Mostly it just felt like watching an episode of Matlock for most of it. It was just excruciatingly boring and incomprehensible. So yeah, 3 out of 5 for me.
Wow.
All right. Mark Hellis, what do you give 1982's Megaforce?
All right. Well, since I can't grade it as I would when I was a kid, when I got the comic books, because that version of Mark Hellis would give this movie a 4 out of 5.
That's fair. I probably would too.
It's ridiculous. But judging it now, knowing that it's a stunt man who made a movie, I'm always looking for anything that kind of shows any kind of creativity or anything that like looks like there's some effort that was put into it. And there was. Like I actually did like the design of their suits, not the lycra brown ones, but the bluish ones with the red flap. I thought that was cool. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Oh, the dress formals. That's what they wear when they go to dinner.
Exactly. So yeah.
Megaforce dinner time. Get your blues on.
I give Mattel a thumbs up for that. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 1.5 out of 5 because as bad as it is, there's moments of competence where they did try to do something unique and creative. It's just that the script just didn't allow it.
Okay.
But I'll give it a 1.5 out of 5.
This is from the guy that gave Bloodshot a 3.
And I will stand by that.
I laugh at that joke. You guys make it a lot on the show. I've never seen Bloodshot, so
I guarantee I'm not the only one that gave it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, Vin Diesel gave it a 3 out of 5 too.
All right, so I'll go last on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna mirror Mark on this. It's a 1.5. It doesn't deliver what it promised in 1982. Obviously, even kids didn't give a fuck about this movie. It's got all the right ingredients, right? Like, you got these awesome vehicles, but they don't do anything, right? Like, even when there's a mega action scene like that raid, that 3-minute or 4-minute raid, it's incomprehensible what the fuck they're doing. Like you said, they're driving in circles. Occasionally they're throwing a rocket at someone. They're shooting laser beams, but there's no real like action happening.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got like, again, I wish I had written that one piece of trivia down. Whoever, the one guy designed all those, and he delivered 8 months. It took him 8 months and $1 million of the budget. And he came up with all those dune buggy. That's all real shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. But then they go and they're just like, well, we're going to go for a Sunday drive in this shit and film it. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, 1.5. They're just too goofy. Megaforce is too fucking goofy.
Yeah.
Like, if you could have made this a little darker and a little bit more serious, I think that there would have been more value to it. Except for now, the value it has now is its kish value. You know what I mean? It is pretty funny. I recommend anybody listening to this that has never seen Megaforce, it's literally an hour and like maybe 18 minutes long, maybe 25. It is certainly worth a watch. Just for like the Zara love story with Ace, just for the skydiving scene, just the weird shit that's in this movie. But if you're going into it with a movie called Megaforce about like America's premier or whatever, the world's premier action force, you're not gonna be paid off for this. But for some reason, to be a Megaforce, you gotta like it's like Men in Black. You gotta be written off the books and like you're dead.
Yeah,
like, none of that made sense to me.
Like one of the guys was gonna go home, and I'm like, "Aren't you dead?" Or
remember? Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes. Is when the two guys were like, "Oh, everybody else got to do that mission, and we've been stacking rockets for 2 hours." And the other guy's like, "We were the heroes of the last 2 missions." And then the guy's like, "Yeah, when I go home, they're not going to." I'm like, nobody can know about this.
Yeah, right.
Like, do you understand how your own fucking team works?
No.
You've been disavowed, my friend. And apparently the answer is no. This is the one guy in Megaforce that nobody told the rules to. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Joey and Mark, stick around. We're going to do another episode. So Wizard Podcast, one of the two of you, explain it to everybody. They're pointing at each other.
All right. I'll explain it. So Wizard Podcast is an exciting new concept in podcasting, never done before. 3 friends sit around and review movies. It's incredible,
amazing.
Would you say you're geeky too?
Yeah,
Oh
nerdy movies.
Oh my god.
At the very least, it's not 3 white guys doing it. That's the best I got. But me, myself, Marcellus, and Aubrey review movies each week, nerdy, geeky genre movies or TV shows. And we'll be doing it since August 2014, every single week. So you can check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, any of those types of things that you listen to podcasts on. And check out our YouTube channel where Adam, the 4th member of the band, the Ringo of the Wizard Podcast.
He's the John, man. Come on.
He's the only one still alive, at least inside. He does a lot of supplemental video content for us. So there's interviews, trailer reactions, and other reviews as well, too, on there. So that it's just a lot of stuff. So wizardpodcast.com is the hub for everything. So go check it out.
This will be obviously 2022 you're heading into. And within the first, 4 months, you'll be at 400.
We'll be right around there. And we're about as we record this, we're about 20 weeks out. So
that is fucking insane. I'm a big fan. I tell you guys all the time, you guys are good friends. We kind of met through the con circuit and all that stuff. And I'm a big fan. So I suggest everybody out there listening to So Wizard. Something I've been trying to do this year, I want to do on the podcast. I used to run podcast ads at the beginning, and I stopped doing that. But I want to support podcasts. So real quick, I'm going to ask each one of you guys to give me a podcast that you listen to that you love and tell people why they should check it out. Marcellus, give me a podcast that you love that you want people to listen to.
Oh, one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to every week is Cult 45, the movie podcast. It's Beat 'em Down and Randy, and they review movies that are kind of like cult classics. Maybe not classics, but at least cult status. And they are 2 of the funniest dudes on the microphone. And I laugh, even if it's a movie that I haven't seen, a movie that I've never heard of. I'm guaranteed in that podcast I will be laughing out loud. So Cult 45, the movie podcast is what I recommend.
Yeah, it is a great show. Joey, who do you got?
Oh, man, you're putting me on the spot here. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
No. That's not what it's about. It's just pick a show. It could be any. If you listen to 20 shows, just pick one of the shows you dig.
All right. Well, every week I listen. Well, it's not weekly, but almost every week. Fans on Patrol is another one of our favorite podcasts, and a podcast we're good friends with, Montego and Tifobot. They do almost the exact same show as us. It's, movie reviews, nerdy news, that type of stuff, but they come at it from a different angle. They have much different opinions, and it's just interesting. It's one of my favorite things is to listen to shows that are similar to us, but that are really well done, that have different opinions than us. So I can hear them or rage or agree, depending on what their takes are. But I love Fans on Patrol. They're there all the time. They do a lot of great stuff. So that's definitely one I would check out if I was looking for another show besides Pint of Comics or So Wizard to listen to.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Joe. All right, well, this is Pint of Comics. You know where to find us. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Facebook. We're on Facebook now. I think everybody's on Facebook now.
Good Pods.
Good Pods seems to be a new thing, all that stuff. So please check us out. We got a lot of good shows planned out for you. So until then, I'll say the words we say every week, and that's see ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!